I absolutely love Breaking Bad. You can learn a lot from that show. For example, it's apparently easier to buy an RV and build a drug empire than it is to get an HMO to approve basic healthcare. But there's another lesson people quietly absorb. No, it's not how to deliver pizzas. It's burner phones. In the show, everyone's constantly using cheap flip phones they destroy after a few calls. Cash purchases, prepaid minutes, no name attached. Talk, disappear, repeat. And lately, that image has been creeping back into real life. After protests in Minneapolis and elsewhere, a lot of activists started asking the same question. Should I get a burner phone? It sounds smart. It sounds cautious. It sounds like something people who know what they're doing would recommend. Here's the part most people don't expect. For a lot of activists, buying a burner phone actually makes them easier to track, not harder. And by the end of this, I'll show you what works better. Tools and habits that protect you without requiring spy movie discipline or perfect behavior under stress. So let's slow this down and get precise. A burner phone is not special hardware. It's just a phone you intend to keep temporary and disposable. The burner part isn't the device. It's the discipline required to keep it disconnected from your identity, your accounts, your locations, and your routines. That sounds clean. It looks cool on TV. In real life, it's brutal. To use a burner correctly, you have to break almost every normal habit people have with phones. You can't buy it with a credit card, you can't put it on a normal plan, and you can't casually turn it on near your home or workplace. You can't carry it next to your personal phone. You can't connect it to familiar Wi-Fi networks or Bluetooth devices. You can't log into real accounts. And here's one most people miss. You can't casually call people you normally talk to. If you use a burner to call your spouse's regular phone, you've already connected the dots for them. Even one call can be enough to collapse the separation. That's why in Breaking Bad, they mostly only call other burners, briefly, and then replace the phones entirely. The separation has to be total, and it has to stay total. That's a very high bar. Here's the part Hollywood skips. Every phone is a tracking device the moment it's powered on. Flip phone or smartphone, it doesn't matter. It talks to cell towers, carries identifiers that make it distinguishable from other phones, and generates location data even if you never open an app. The only thing a burner changes is what that data is tied to. If you ever connect the device to your real identity, even once, all of that historical data goes with it. There's no reset button, no undo. Turn it on at home, carry it in the same car as your regular phone, or use it under stress and forget one rule: the separation collapses. In real life, that kind of overlap is often enough to undo everything a burner is supposed to protect. So when Walter has his phone on at home, or when Gus talks on his phone outside his chicken restaurant, they are at least partially eroding the anonymity that burner phones are designed to create. Now pause for a second, because this is where people usually get it wrong. What are you actually planning to do with this phone? If your goal is to document protests, photos, video, posting online, a burner phone does not protect you the way people assume. The moment you coordinate with your real network or post to accounts tied to you, the main benefit is gone. The content itself can become identifying: your timing, your writing style, who responds, who shares. A burner only works inside a tightly controlled bubble, usually with other burners, and with no overlap with your real digital life. That's not how most people actually operate at protests. Which brings us to the most dangerous part of burner phones. They create a false sense of security. People take more risks, talk more freely, and stop double-checking themselves. That confidence is often more dangerous than carrying no burner at all. Now here's the pivot, and this is the most important idea in this entire video. Nothing I'm about to suggest makes you anonymous, but contrary to common perceptions, anonymity isn't the goal. The goal is to make surveillance harder to execute and less effective. Privacy at protests is not about disappearing, it's about creating friction. Modern surveillance works because it's cheap, fast, and automatic. When data is clean, it's easy to see who moves together, who communicates repeatedly, and which phones keep showing up in the same places. When you disrupt those patterns, surveillance still works, but it stops scaling. It has to slow down, make guesses, and spend real time and money. That matters. Locking your phone is part of the same strategy. A device that can't be casually searched forces the state to choose. If access takes time, legal process, or focused effort, investigators have to justify that effort instead of sweeping everything up by default. Strong security can delay access for weeks or months, or sometimes prevent it entirely. That delay changes incentives. Fewer phishing expeditions, fewer dragnet sweeps, less low-level harassment just because it's easy. The goal isn't zero identification. The goal is that identification stops being trivial. So what can you actually do? First, minimize devices. If you don't need a phone at a protest, don't bring one. If you do need one, ask whether it needs to be powered on the entire time. Fewer powered-on devices mean fewer data trails. Sometimes the most effective move is simply not generating data in the first place. Second, harden the phone you already own. Use a strong passcode, not Face ID or fingerprints. Your body can be compelled. A passcode can't. Turn off lock screen notifications. Disable Bluetooth and Wi-Fi when you're not using them. Limit location permissions. Delete apps you don't actually need. Every unnecessary app is another potential data leak. Use encrypted communications like Signal and Proton Mail. Use a VPN as one small layer, not a magic shield. None of this makes you invisible, but it makes surveillance more expensive. We'll cover many of these tools in other videos, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're on Android, consider a second user profile with minimal apps and data. If you can afford a secondary device, consider an operating system not tied to a major data harvesting company. Third, be honest about documentation. If you want to record or post, understand the trade-off. Visibility can be powerful, but it isn't anonymous. That's not a moral failure, it's a strategic choice. Make it consciously. Fourth, plan for compromise. Ask yourself in advance what a lost or searched phone would reveal. Ask what widely shared footage could realistically be connected back to. That mindset leads to better decisions than chasing invisibility with gadgets. Before we wrap up, this is what strategic resistance looks like in practice. It's not about disappearing or outsmarting the system. It's about understanding how power actually works, where it's strong, where it's brittle, and what it responds to. It means making deliberate choices, even when you're angry or afraid, that reduce risk, limit harm, and keep you effective over time. Don't just act, act with intention. Don't just protest, resist. Don't just plan, think strategically.